Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is Friday morning, June 30th, and as the camera is rolling, I am still updating my phone with the chat window. I already missed the first of the two 747s arriving right now. I didn't want to miss the second one, so I thought let's go live and fix the rest on the go. Good morning Elton and goedemorgen Marius. Hope you are both doing well. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is the Polderbaan once again for arrivals at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. And this is a Cargolux B744 that is arriving from Miami, Florida after 8 hours and 4 minutes of flying time. She is 16 years old. First flight was in May 2007. Cargolux flight 6823. Still putting the finishing touches on my phone configuration. Enable split screen. There we go. Right, that's done. Alright. Lasse, goedemorgen. Paul, goedemorgen. Gosse, goedemorgen. Good morning. Goedemorgen deze morgen. We have a few heavies inbound. After this 747 is a TUI fly Dreamliner arriving from Cancun, Mexico. However, first up we are going to see this Boeing 747-400 Cargolux arriving from Miami, Florida. Servus Peppi. Guten Morgen. Du bist auch wieder früh dabei. Wie geht's? Our regular viewer Peppi from Innsbruck, Austria, in beautiful Tyrol. Let me also adjust the rubber bands to my panhandle a little bit. There we go. Indeed, good day for stream, Peppi. Schönes Wetter, besser als gestern. Viel besser. The sun is out again, as you guys can see. We have a few clouds, but no more rain. In fact, it is set to warm up to 20 plus degrees Celsius again over here today. Right now it is a bit colder still, although it is approaching 20 degrees already, I think. Let me have a look in the ticker. I did update the weather, but I haven't had a look at it yet. This is TUI flight 225, Boeing 7878 Dreamliner arriving from Cancun, Mexico. 9 hours and 11 minutes of flight time. She is 8 years old. First flight was in November 2014. Oh, es regnet in Innsbruck heute. Rain in Innsbruck. Und wie heiß ist es? How warm is it? Timo, goedemorgen, good morning. Thomas, goedemorgen, good morning. Welcome to you all. Yes, Thomas, I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. It is beautiful weather right now. I'm standing here with my t-shirt on, although I did not put any sunscreen on. So I think I might put on my vest again, just to cover my arms. It is still cool enough that a vest is not too warm. You really have to be careful, particularly when you are streaming several times a week for several hours a day. In summer conditions, you have to protect your skin, very important. Not to be underestimated, the damage that the sun can do. Hoe dan Sim? Sim Eric and the Google algorithm. Karen movies, Carrie films. You mean the stereotype where she wants to call the manager because she is dissatisfied about something and makes a scene. The meme. So this was EasyJet A320 arriving from Bristol. Ah, yep, those videos. Well, Paul, I'm happy to report that there are no bugs so far. I haven't seen any. Oh wait, there is a little spider, I think, on my laptop tent. Oh, it's now on the inside. Okay, well, later when I'm done streaming, my laptop will probably have been transformed into a spider web or something. I thought maybe I could zoom in on it, see if those things are actually spiders, or as Han was asking yesterday, if they might be ticks. I don't think they were. I think they were just little spiders. Yeah. Well, but it is an interesting switch from Karen films, Karen clips to AMS Live. From making a scene to creating a scene. Here is Welling. We're still over here in line with the first exit of the runway, so we can get these nice butt shots, if you can call them that, looking directly behind the airplane. Hey, good morning Dominic. Goedemorgen Erik. Happy Friday to you both. Hope you both are doing well. Now, if it ever gets quiet, if you can see, there is also more moisture in the upper atmosphere. So we do have contrail formation right now. But for now we're still good with traffic arriving. This is Emirates Sky Cargo 777 freighter arriving from Aguadilla. 10 years old. Little bit of squeakiness in the brakes there. Hey there Dale, good morning. Hope you're doing well. All the butt planes, well, yeah. There you go. A nice rear shot of the 777. Now, more traffic is coming this way. Initially, when I was setting up and also updating the ticker, it seemed that both runways right and center were in use for arrivals, but looking on flight radar and around me right now, I'm inclined to think that this is the only runway for arrivals at the moment. That would be good news, of course. Our next airplane is from Air Europa, arriving from Madrid. Not a Dreamliner, but this time they sent a 737-800. Flight 1091. The airplane left Madrid 2 hours and 12 minutes ago. This airplane is 5 years old. Its first flight was in July 2017. Hey there, line check, good morning. How are you? Long time no see. At least that's how it feels. Hey there, Bruce W and Steve 88. Good morning, folks. Hope you fellas are doing well. Happy Friday to you all. Now it is quite quiet over here, as you guys can see. When I was walking up here, there was this one guy that I every now and then see. Has quite professional equipment. Not sure. I think I also saw him in a vest from KLM once, so I'm thinking he might be a videographer working for KLM, making occasional corporate videos or something. He doesn't seem to be live streaming. Anyway, other than him, nobody here at the moment. Here we have Sun Express arriving from Chocolaterie. Yesterday with a very striking Eintracht Frankfurt livery. And today a standard livery. Hey Belinda, goedemorgen. Good morning. En Coco, goedemorgen. So the Sun Express airplane from Chocolaterie was underway for 4 hours and a few minutes. And she is 12 years old. First flight was in October 2010. Next up is going to be an Embraer 190 from KLM arriving from London City. And the plane after that is also already visible in the distance. That looks to be an A321 Neo from Air Astana arriving from Attirau, which I probably totally mispronounced. Hey, goedemorgen Gerrit-Jan, photo for you, heren. A very good morning. So this is KLM flight 982 arriving from London City. Embraer 190. Nine years old. At Boypot, indeed. Well, it is still early, remember, and it is a Friday. These days a lot of people already have weekend on Friday, so let's see how the morning progresses, and if in a few hours I'm still the only one standing here. Chances are that I am not. So this is Air Astana, flight 903, A321neo, arriving from Attirau, 6 hours and 18 minutes of flight time. And this airplane 4 years old, first flight July 2018. Now this was an A321neo. Next up is going to be a regular A321 from Air France, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Hey there, goedemorgen ome Gerrit. Good morning, Uncle Gerrit. Paul asks, light crosswind southwest, you're right. The wind essentially hasn't changed in direction. A little bit from the right for the pilots, so they are facing us a little bit as they approach the runway. The photo for you is informing us that there's a 777 from Qatar coming in 20 minutes. And I thought I saw another, I think Silkway West was also underway, 747 from Baku. Should also arrive around the end of the morning if I'm not mistaken. Happy to accompany you during work there, Steve. Great way to make it through the day. That could be a logo. AMS Live, great way to make it through the day. Ha, have to copyright that. So, next up, Dreamliner. It is a Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from Delhi in India. It is also in the KLM 100 years livery, flight 872. Airborne now for 8 hours 55 minutes, about to touch down. And she is 4 years old. First flight was in June 2019. I did have coffee this morning, but I think the caffeine has to kick in still. Nice wheelie. Not sure if it's going to be the record holder, but we have at least an initial submission to the competition. Hey Jens, goedemorgen. And a 747 above Giethoorn. Looks like Schiphol because 15,000 feet. Okay, interesting. Could be that they are diverting to Schiphol. Now, Giethoorn, help me a little bit. That's in North Holland, isn't it? I'm not that good with my topography anymore, unfortunately. It's been a while. Now, let me update the ticker. Arrivals is 18 right at the moment. And here is our next airplane. United Airlines flight 909. Arriving from Chicago O'Hare. Boeing 7878. Touching down after almost 7 hours of flying, and this airplane 10 years old. First flight was in December 2012. Still rolling out on the runway. Spoilers are still up. Ah, okay, Kampen. And is the airside day in danger because of the weather, gents? I did hear that they expect a lot of rain tomorrow. Also not sure yet if I am going to go out for live streaming tomorrow. Will very much be weather dependent. And at the moment, not the best of forecasts for tomorrow. Hey there, the Hobart Aviation fan. Good morning, good evening, my friend. Obviously evening for you over there. Welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. Martin, goedemorgen. Am I on in the shovel or anything? Or in a crane? Well, as I was saying, fellas, my topography is not that sharp anymore. It's been a few years, quite a few years since I've had topography in school. Okay, but if it is over there, that means it has to fly. Well, if it is crossing the Markermeer to the west, we should be able to pick it up later. Unless they are declaring a mayday and get carte blanche from ATC as to which runway they are going to land on and choose a different runway than Polderbaan, we should be seeing that 747 if it is coming to us. Arno is maar een klein beetje vliegtuiggek. Ik kijk live mee vanuit de vrachtwagen. Awesome. Nou, wel oppassen, Arno. Be careful. Don't crash the truck while watching AMS live if you're behind the wheel. That can become very deadly very quickly. Okay, so a 747, an unforeseen 747, now descending and at 9,000 feet. In that case, let me clear all filters on flight radar so that I can see it. Yeah, have it on flight radar. Air China cargo. Origin not available, destination not available. Right. Well, so we are going to see probably 3 747s then. We already saw the first one. The second one is arriving and the third one should be arriving around the end of the morning. And today in the crane, Martin says. Getting rid of the sand on a ship. 1,700 tons. That's a lot. Morgen, Sander. Ah! Yeah, I remember, Lasse. I haven't checked yesterday, so when I get home I will have a look at your photos. Looking forward to seeing that. You had better weather than I did yesterday, at least. Yesterday was the one day that the weather was a bit worse than it has been over the last couple of weeks. We're now looking at Turkish Airlines flight 1951, Airbus A330-300 arriving from Istanbul. The airplane is 3 hours and 4 minutes underway and is 11 years old. Its first flight was in February 2012. Now, and further up should be A737. Is it visible yet? Oh yeah, I think we do see it. I did see something just now. Huh. Oh yeah. Have to keep it on autofocus and focus to infinity, otherwise the camera will lose focus immediately. In het kader van stijve nekken, Swiss Airbus A348 Edelweiss coming from North England. If it continues the line, it might crush you in a while. Well, keep me posted, photo for you. It is better weather to follow airplanes because they produce contrails. Although, right here is a patch of continuous cloud, making it a bit harder to follow. To the west it is a bit more open. Right above is also still relatively open, but it is more to the east where it is a bit more cloudy. To the south though, it is a lot better. The south and the west are now the most open. So this is another airplane arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. This one from KLM, flight 1224, Boeing 737-800. Flight time 43 minutes, airplane age 23 years. First flight was in May 2000. Hey there, Yorkshire, good morning, my friend. And Janice, good morning. Checking in from Larissa in Greece. Aaron, goedemorgen, good morning. Hey Koenie, goedemorgen. Hope everybody is doing well. We're expecting a Boeing 747 in a few minutes, which is interesting because it wasn't planned, but there you go. CRJ in the foreground, 747 behind it. In the foreground, CRJ 900 arriving from Copenhagen, SAS flight 2551, an hour and 3 minutes of flying time. Little wobbly on the landing there. The airplane is 5 years old. This one, first flight November 2017. So next up, a surprise visit, one that wasn't in the books, but we're happy to welcome nonetheless. Air China Cargo, flight 1001, origin not applicable, not available, destination not available, but it looks like Schiphol. It is a Boeing 747-400 freighter, 17 years old. First flight of this airplane was in April 2006. Now, okay, in the Edelweiss A340, going more to the south, we can see the next airplane already turning onto the glide slope in the background. 777 from Qatar, arriving from Doha. It is nice to see how they come around to line up, right? Particularly when visibility is clear and good. Makes for excellent visuals. So, Queen number 2, ladies and gentlemen, the mystery plane. Joining the stream just in time, me myself, indeed you did. And welcome all other viewers as well, welcome to the show. My name is Boy, this is AMS Live. You're watching arrivals on Polderbaan. Runway 18 right. The prevailing wind is blowing from the south-southwest. These airplanes are arriving from the north towards the south. Airplanes taking off from runway 24, and if they go to the north we can also catch them. Not sure if you can see, but air traffic departing to the north or to the far east, if they are allowed to fly over Russia, will be taking off to the north and coming along next to us. Hey there David, good evening. Hope you had a good day over there in Melbourne. Over here the day has just begun. This is Qatar Cargo, flight 8201, 777, arriving from Doha. 6 hours 21 minutes of flight time. The airplane is relatively new, 2 years old. First flight was in February 2021. 777 freighter. And our mystery 747 just vanishing behind the fire station. And still a long way to taxi back to the gate or to the cargo airplanes parking area, which is on both sides of runway 0624. If you're unfamiliar with the layout of Schiphol, this runway is the furthest removed. This airplane has to taxi along the road where the trees are planted. This is the main platform area in the background. This is the original ATC control tower. It is so far out that this runway has its dedicated ATC control tower over here and also a dedicated fire station next to it. Next up is an Embraer 190. KLM arriving from Prague. Behind it will be an A350 from Delta Airlines arriving from Atlanta. Where is it? Ah, there it is. So both are already visible. The Embraer 190 about to touch down. Here we go. No, not a new record. Although we did also see that one super long wheelie that was also from an Embraer 190. Our friendly neighborhood, the police, just passed by, also saying hi, waving. They all know. Most of them know who I am by now. Always good to have some security nearby. Mr. Ozas, good morning. And Erik says in the north a C-17 Globemaster at 35,000 feet. How far to the north? Because I don't see any contrails right nearby. Anyway, let's not get too distracted. Here is Delta Airlines flight 74, Airbus A350 900 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. 7.5 hours of flight time. The airplane is 4 years old. Its first flight in September 2018. C-17 already further up above Markermeer. I am scanning the sky to see if there are any contrails to be seen. Don't see any approaching or nearby just yet. Now I see that an Embraer 175 to Dublin just took off from runway 24. That is most likely going to turn towards us. So let me show you guys what you can see from air traffic taking off. Going to either the northwest or northeast. Or to the far east if they are allowed to fly over Russia. That is if the clouds are not going to get in the way. Well, maybe this was not the best example. Hey Ronald, goedemorgen, good morning. P5 patrol vehicle passing by. And in the meantime, the next air traffic arriving over here. Leave Aviation arriving from Gdansk. No, Cologne. Sorry, misread the abbreviation. Completely white airplane. 32 minutes of flight time. And a 12-year-old airplane. And indeed another white one behind it. SmartLynx. Flying for SAS. Flight 1553. A320 arriving from Stockholm. 1 hour 38 minutes of flight time. And what is that behind it? That looks like United Airlines 968 arriving from San Francisco. 7879 Dreamliner. Hey there Keanu, hey there Camille. Good morning folks. They are chipping out on the paint. Also allegedly saves the airco as more warmth from the sun gets reflected by white paint. Not sure if that really makes a big difference, but another ghost airplane. Or as somebody in the chat once coined it, wedding dress livery. Not the first analogy that would spring to my mind, but I do get it. Up next, United Airlines Flight 968, Boeing 7879 Dreamliner arriving from San Francisco. 9 hours 34 minutes of airtime right now. The airplane's age is 2 years. Its first flight was in October of the year 2020. Me myself asks if the ducks are awake yet. I haven't seen them yet. I do see some movement further up in the stream. Not sure if those are ducks or coots. That's the only bird life that I can currently see over here. Also looking behind me, don't see anything going on right now, but it is still early. From experience we have learned that most birds are not early birds. They tend to be more night owls. Hey Wendy, goedemorgen, good morning. Cathay Spotter, good morning. Hope you're doing well. All other viewers who have joined us in the meantime, good morning to you too, or good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from and what time of day it is right there where you live. You're watching AMS Live. This is the Polderbaan, runway 18 right. And we have departing traffic from runway 24. And this is what happens when they fly to the north. We are able to pick them up. Careful that things are not getting too tangled. I lost it. Also, this is more to the west and the sun is in the east, so I also have to take into consideration that the sun begins to shine on my camera screen, which already isn't the brightest. Let's see. This should be a 777-200. United Flight 71 going to Newark. Now, normally speaking, these airplanes would take a Bergy 1 Sierra departure, which means that they climb in more or less runway heading, then make a right-hand turn, fly towards the sea, between my hometown Lisse and Sassenheim on average, and then go to the northwest towards Bergen, which is why the departure is called Bergy. But I think, oh well, no. I was about to say clouds might interfere a little. Well, it hasn't turned yet, So I guess it has a more southerly North Atlantic track that it's following, meaning it is going to fly more to the south and enter the North Atlantic track more southerly than in the vicinity of Scotland, for instance. If it had been more northerly, then it would have flown a different departure. Meanwhile, a heavy that is expected to land over here on the Polderbaan, China Southern Cargo. We already saw the 747. Now it is time to see its 777 arrive, flight 2573, arriving from Guangzhou. This airplane is in the air now for 11 hours and 35 minutes, almost half a day already, folks. It is a 777 freighter, brand new, and really brand new. It began flying last month in May 2023, so this one is really new. And the next airplane is already visible in the distance. A 777-300ER arriving from Johannesburg. More sambal, more food, more Chinese food, more AliExpress packages. Hey Jolande, goedemorgen, good morning. Jelmer, goedemorgen, good morning. All other folks who have tuned in, good morning. You're watching AMS Live. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We have friendly folk over here and also very knowledgeable. Don't be afraid and do say hi. Next up is KLM flight 592. This is a 777-300ER arriving from Johannesburg, South Africa. This airplane a bit shorter airborne than the previous one. 10 hours and 26 minutes. It is a 7-year-old airplane, a bit older than the previous one. First flight of this airplane was in February 2016. Somebody is entering the wheelie competition. Although I'm not sure which one has been the longest so far. So far all the wheelies we've seen have been quite average, especially compared with that of the 737 yesterday. In case you missed that, we saw a tremendously impressive wheelie from a KLM 737 yesterday. I made it into a separate clip that you can find in the videos tab of my channel. Definitely worth looking back. The video is less than a minute long. Only the essential bit has been trimmed in and the rest has been left out. But particularly, it was already a very impressive wheelie to begin with, but the fact that it was also done by a narrow body such as a 737 makes it all the more impressive. Photo for you says Lufthansa 747 right above you, 37,000 feet. I'm looking, but I don't see anything. Bit of hazy clouds over here, right above me. I do see the 737 by the looks of it, directly to the left of me. Probably off to Bergen or Oslo or something, or Stockholm. It is a bit hazy. Not sure if you guys can see it properly. This is looking to the west. It is a bit hazy. Also to the east you can see the sky is a little bit milky. Makes it a bit hard to see everything going up in the sky. This is Croatia Airlines A320 arriving from Zagreb. Hey there, Peter P. Good evening, mate. We all hope that I'm going to capture another mega wheelie. So far, the competition has not really taken off yet. We have seen a few wheelies, but they have been so-so. Not the most impressive we've seen. For some reason, yesterday morning looked like it was a better time for wheelies. However, we're not done with the stream yet, so who knows. Next up, EasyJet arriving from London Gatwick, and after that we are going to see a KLM E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Berlin. All the departures to the north are quite well visible. This looks like a Dreamliner. Oh, let me see if I can multitask. That is difficult. Not my best skill. Was trying to scroll to the side on Flight Radar to see what it was. I think it was Air Baltic going to Riga. Now you can nicely see the crosswind. E2 Embraer 195 from KLM arriving from Berlin. A somewhat atypical KLM landing, slowing down. Is it also going to vacate from the first exit? Hey Elske, goedemorgen. Antwerp, represent. Hey Shen, good morning. Hey, Adebos Kasil Jr. also back in the stream. Good evening, fella. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a nice day. Evening already in Indonesia, I suppose, as it is down under. Our next airplane is an A319 from Lufthansa, arriving from Munich. Flight 2302. Flight time 1 hour 8 minutes. Airplane age 11 years. Its first flight was in August 2011. Also scanning the sky above. Don't see anything nearby. Does seem a bit more hazy than in the beginning of the stream. You can definitely see the milkiness when I point the camera this way. Makes for a nice sky though. Lovely to see. A bit harder to see through. Now, next up, daarom, flight 361, Boeing 737-800 arriving from Bucharest, 2 hours 34 minutes of flight time. Airplane is 9 years old, little bumpy there. Hello, good morning. Joao, very enthusiastic. Good morning, Joao. And we are seeing another airplane approach. Just took off from runway 24. Do I also see it on my screen is the question. You'd be surprised how hard it can be to see something little on a little already tiny screen that is being illuminated by the sun. Embraer arriving from London City, SkyTeam livery. Hey, good morning, Miguel. How's life in Barcelona? It's been a while since we saw you, I think. At least it feels like it's been a while. Hope you're doing well. And good morning, greetings. Happy Friday to Mohammed as well. Welcome to the show, my friend. Now, again, just to show you guys over here in the water, all is still quiet. Has been all morning. Haven't seen any ducks or grebes or coots or anything. Also no herons. No nothing. No seagulls, no. Even Russell Crowe seems to have been on holiday. Now, the daily firefighter patrol also took place already as I was walking up here. Schiphol firefighters. Now there's also a little place where you can do some spotting on the other side of the runway. Over here is a little fence, there's a little roundabout behind it, and there's a road leading up to this. Which leads along this shed that has a commercial message on its rooftop. Now, officially you're not allowed to park over there. People sometimes do, and in fact I see one car that is now approaching the roundabout. But like with all those spotters places, officially you are not allowed to park there. If the police sees you and catches you, they are allowed to fine you. It's basically exactly on the opposite side of the runway, a bit more to the left, more to the north. Hey Jean-Yves, salut! Hoe gaat het? Gaat goed? Et tu, comment ça va? Here's our next airplane. It is Pegasus Flight 35 A320neo arriving from Istanbul. Underway now for 3 hours and 13 minutes. The airplane is 3 years old. First flight was in July 2019. And Paul is signing off. Got a wedding to attend. That is always nice. Enjoy the day and the wedding. And we'll see each other again soon, undoubtedly. There's also a tractor coming along the cycling path from the south, from the parking place of the Spottersplatz, so from behind me right now. Now, interestingly, there is departing traffic passing me by just now. Another A320 from Air Baltic to Billund, if flight radar is correct. There should also be a descending airplane visible flying in the vicinity of Haarlem. Looking to see if I can spot it visually. I should be able to see it, but against the milky backdrop it is a bit hard to see. I don't see it. Flying downwind, and we'll see it land in a minute. Boeing 737-800 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. And indeed, in 1 hour and 45 minutes, a queen from Baku is arriving, the third queen of the day. We're also still waiting for the Emirates A380. Yesterday we got disappointed for the so manyth time. ATC opening up runway 18 center before the anticipated time. They do always seem to be doing that. Our first next airplane is an A320 from ITA Airways arriving from Milan. Just turned onto the runway glide slope. And yes, Mohammed, 18C has reopened again for traffic. Oh, I was looking behind me and accidentally bumped the tripod. So right now 18C is closed, but we are expecting that it's going to reopen again later in the morning at some point to facilitate all the incoming traffic and have parallel arrivals. The lights are going on. ITA Airways flight 120 A320 arriving from Milan. She's underway now for 1 hour and 18 minutes and the airplane's age is 13 years. It had its first flight in December 2009. And behind it is an A320 from BH Air arriving from Erbil, which I think is in Iraq. 5 hours and 3 minutes of flight time. All white livery, 18-year-old airplane. First flight May 2005. Now I don't have any filters enabled, so I'm also seeing a Qatar flying over that should be on 39,000 feet. So I'm looking up to see if I can spot the control, but there is no control that I can see, so that is interesting. Maybe not all traffic is showing or is leaving a contrail then. I thought they did, but maybe they don't. Here's the beautiful Azzurro from ITA Airways. Hey Jerry, good morning, good night. Good to see you again, my friend. A floater. Indeed. A very gentle touchdown there. And our next airplane is that all-white 737-800 arriving from Erbil, BH Air. Let's see, there's another A320 following it, entering from the right. From Lufthansa, arriving from Frankfurt. So the all-white option appears to be very popular, at least in the traffic that we have seen so far this morning. And good morning, Jelina. And NPM Aviation, thank you so much for your super chat. Saying good morning from Switzerland. Good morning to you too, my friend. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. All other viewers who have tuned in, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. You guys are watching together with us to arriving traffic over here at the Polderbaan, runway 18 right. Currently the only runway in use for arrivals, although later we are expecting 18 Center to also be reopened. For now, all airplanes arriving to Schiphol will be landing right here in front of us. And fast KLM, it is a typical KLM landing, in fact, Jerry. Their trademark landing, keep up the speed, roll out on the runway, take a later exit and shorten the time to the gate as much as possible. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the layout of Schiphol, this runway is the furthest removed from the main platform area. And there is a significant time to taxi back from here to the gate. The main ATC control tower over there in the distance, because this runway is so far away removed from the main platform area, it has its dedicated ATC control tower. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to taxi back to the gate from landing over here, which is why the KLM pilots who know this by heart try to keep up the speed as much as they can on average. So this is an A320 from Lufthansa arriving from Frankfurt. A little tiny teensy bit of a wheelie. Well, we haven't seen anything quite as dramatic as yesterday so far. Also not from the heavies that we've seen thus far. Who knows, it might change. Sure hope for that. And Charlie J also tuning in from Portland. Says good morning from PDX. Thank you so much for your kind super chat, my friend. Another viewer from Portland, Oregon. Jerry also being from PDX. Hey Luca. Sto bene, grazie. E tu, come stai? Paul checking in from Down Under. Another viewer from Down Under. Good evening, mate. Hope you're doing well. Over here we have KLM flight 636. It is a Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from Las Vegas or Las Vegas. 9 hours and 4 minutes of flight time. Now touching down. And we do see a little wheelie. While not very impressive, it does rank among the highest, longest wheelies we've seen thus far, I think. Paul van Munster checking in from Portugal. Goedemorgen. And then, oh, there was a new chat message and I clicked on the wrong one. Jerry also super chatting. Go Portland, Oregon, USA. Thank you so much for that, Jerry. And Portland is represented quite well this morning. And then Paul also super chatting, saying Gold Coast, loving your stream. Good man. Thank you so much for that, Paul. Really appreciate it, my friends. Thank you. And Dennis says ELY 337 inbound. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Well, let's continue with what I can see immediately. KLM flight 1954, Boeing 737-700 arriving from Zurich. 1 hour and 8 minutes underway. The airplane's age, 12 years. First flight was in May 2011. Happy to hear that, Luca. Hey. Oh no. It looked promising. But then a sudden drop of the nose wheel quickly ended all hopes that we were having on seeing another 737 making a long super wheelie. Hey Morgan Luther, good to see you, welcome to the stream. Gold Coast Marathon on this weekend. 2 days, a 2-day marathon. Do they split it in professionals versus amateurs, or are you guys having marathons that are longer than the marathons that we are having? Ultra marathons. Ironman marathon. No, those are triathlons. Those are insane. Swim like 10 miles or so, cycle for 200 kilometers and then run a full marathon. How cardio crazy do you have to be able to compete and live such an ordeal? This is KLM flight 598, 777-300ER. She's arriving from Cape Town, South Africa after 10 hours 55 minutes of flying. Now touching down, 6 years old. First flight January 2017. Not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. Although I don't, even though the slots on the engines have opened, I don't hear a lot of reverse thrust there. I'm wondering, is it possible that they do open the engine slots but don't apply the reverse thrust? Because I don't always hear a lot of noise, and sometimes I do. The slots always seem to open. Obviously that's an automatic setting that you have to do as part of the pre-landing checklist, but might it be idle reverse? Yeah, so the slots do open but they don't really spool up the engines then to apply reverse thrust. Yeah, so we do see a lot of idle reverse then. Next up, Air Malta A320neo, arriving from, let's see, Malta. Ha! Surprise. Air Malta flight 394, underway now for 2 hours and 49 minutes. A320neo, 3 years old, first flight July 2019. Marathon for beer, Jerry says. For an hour, last to pee wins. I am champion. Why is that? Do you have a catheter? That is cheating, Jerry. That way I can also win by not having to go to the toilet. Hey Gabriella, goedemorgen. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. So folks, welcome to the show. If you just tuned in, this is AMS Live. We are watching arrivals on the Polderbaan. Momentarily the only runway in use for arrivals. Here is a Speedbird A320 arriving from London Heathrow. I do get the feeling that the wind is picking up just a little bit. Let me also see if there's a moment to update the ticker with the latest weather for you guys. And we get a nice butt shot by the A320 vacating the runway over here. This is the first exit of the runway and we are standing right in line with it. Hopefully we can also see the lowering of the spoilers in a second. Or 2 seconds. There we go. Now I'm expecting that the flaps are also going to be retracted in a few seconds. And you can clearly see departures taking place from runway 24. This one going to London Heathrow. And behind me an A320 landing, Aegean arriving from Athens. Hey Liewe, goedemorgen. Sven, goedemorgen. Goeie smoortjes deze morgentje. Thomas, guten Morgen, morgen. Schön, dass du auch wieder dabei bist. Next up, an A320 Neo from ITA Airways arriving from Rome. It's getting closer by. Let me take this moment to see if I can update the weather, see what the wind is doing. On occasion it feels like it's picking up, although not constantly, so I'm just wondering... 10 knots, okay. Well, copy. Just paste it in the ticker. Update font size and color. There we go. Just did an update of the latest meter in the ticker. Check out the beautiful Azzurro. It is lovely. I have to say I like this shade of blue better than KLM's blue. Also the tricolore on the tail. Nice touch. A very Italian airplane. And that's a good thing. Now it seems that they have opened up runway 18 center as well. Because this Embraer 175 arriving from Berlin is going to land on that runway. So I once again have to go to my laptop in a second to update the ticker. The moment we have been fearing, but have been anticipating, the reopening of runway 18 center. Now it is 5 to 11. If we are lucky, they are going to open up the center runway for an hour or so, maybe a bit longer, and then close it again. They typically have stints of an hour to 1.5 hours that they open up a secondary runway, either for departures or for arrivals. So the upside, possible upside of center having been reopened already, is that it might be closed around 1 p.m. and that is the time that the Emirates A380 is expected to land over here. So hopefully this is a good omen. That may mean that we are going to see the A380 up close today. Let me quickly update the ticker then. Arrivals 18C. Now, in the meantime, A777-200 arriving over here. KLM flight 749 arriving from Cartagena. Airborne now for 9 hours 25 minutes. The airplane's age 19 years. First flight was in November 2003. Hey, good morning Lance. Goedemorgen. And it is a very Dutch sky. A bit milky, a bit hazy. A few friendly cumulonimbus clouds in between. Although it is getting a bit more milky in the sky right now, making it a bit harder to follow airplanes that do have contrails. Although we found out that not all flying over do produce contrails today. Now, parallel landings are in progress and another 777-200 arriving from Tel Aviv, this one from El Al, which they don't always send over here. Often it is a 737, today a 777-200. El Al flight 337 arriving from Tel Aviv, 4 hours and 19 minutes of flight time already. A 200 ER, 22 years old. Its first flight was in February of the year 2001. Well, Nerd, yesterday, the plan was that 18 Center was to reopen around 1 p.m. but they already opened it at 12:30 or so. So, just looking at what they are de facto doing and bearing in mind that when they do open a secondary runway, it is typically for 1.5 hours maximum. I'm cautiously predicting that it is cautiously optimistically looking for our chances of seeing the A380. But you never know, it is Schiphol after all. Here, an A320 Neo in the striking red play, flight 460 arriving from Reykjavik, 2.5 hours of flight time, and the airplane brand new. Started its career as an airplane last fall. Hey there Donna, good morning. Happy Tour de France weekend. Is it already Tour de France time? Not much of a cyclist, or at least professional cycling enthusiast, so I do know it's always somewhere in the summer, but I hadn't realized that it was already beginning, apparently. So let's see, further out, an A321 Neo from Air Transat, which is over here, arriving from Toronto. No, Montreal, sorry. And in the meantime, an EasyJet arriving on center. The flying lipstick, indeed. That's an apt nickname for that red Neo, the flying lipstick. Hey there, good morning Carlos and good morning Remco. Hope you guys are doing well. Well, other viewers who are watching, good morning or good evening, depending on what time of day it is for you as well. Welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy and you are watching arrivals primarily on Polderbaan, runway 18 right, but as you guys can see, parallel landings are in progress right now. They have reopened 18 center. So we are just filming all the arriving traffic insofar as is possible. Over here, as I was saying just now, an A321 Neo from Air Transat. Transatlantic flight arriving from Montreal. 6 hours and a minute of flight time according to flight radar, and this airplane, 3 years old. First flight of this airplane was in 2020 in the month February. Little wobbly on the landing there. Not as wobbly though as the A319 from EasyJet yesterday. If you missed that one, I have it timestamped as a highlight. So if you go back to the live stream of yesterday, you can quickly go to the right timestamp. I also named it EasyJet A319. It did a one-wheel wheelie on one of the two main landing gears. Albeit very briefly. But later during the stream the wind was picking up, the crosswind was picking up, and you can definitely see that some of the airplanes were struggling with it. So 737-800 arriving over here. Parallel is an Embraer 175 arriving from Stuttgart or Stavanger. STR, this one LHR, London Heathrow, KLM flight 1002. Short flight, 40 minutes. And no significant wheelies. Prototypical, stereotypical KLM landing. Stay on the runway, keep up the speed, vacate late, and make the time to the gate as short as possible. Our good friend Russell the Crow has in the meantime arrived. Just landed on the lantern. Fluffing up his feathers. Looking in the water on both sides. Still no birds to be seen, unfortunately. They are sleeping in. I do see an airplane that is coming this way, to the left of me, to the north. Taken off from runway 24. We are also seeing an airplane that is arriving for center. Hey there Mo, good morning. And Luther is saying also 2 heavies coming in soon. Delta A330 300 and Air Canada 777-200 long range, but they seem to land on 18C. We saw that yesterday as well, that the heavies got directed to center and the narrow bodies were directed to the Polderbaan. Hopefully that's not going to be the case again today. Over here, Boeing 737-800, flight 1724, arriving from Brussels. Departed 27 minutes ago. The airplane is 12 years old. March 2011 was when it had its first flight. And Paul, Russell the Crow was not something that I came up with. I think it was... Who was it? I think it was Rick Meester who coined the term originally. So all credit where credit is due. Now, I am seeing 2 airplanes arriving. The first one is Delta and the second one looks like Air Canada. I think both heavies are coming to the Polderbaan. Luckily for us. First up, Delta Airlines Flight 162, A330 300, arriving from Minneapolis, 7 hours and 9 minutes. 7 hours and 9 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 19 years old. First flight was in March 2004. Now, showing you the big picture quickly. This is to the south, this is to the west, this is east, this is north. With the exception of the north, it is getting increasingly more milky in the sky. I also believe that tomorrow is going to be a very rainy day, and in the run-up to that rain area, it is going to get more cloudy as the day progresses. So I'm still unsure of whether or not I'm going out to live stream tomorrow. That all depends on what the weather forecast will be in terms of precipitation. Obviously, if it's only going to rain in the morning, then going out in the afternoon is a viable option. If it is expected to rain the entire day, I might take the day off, come back on Sunday. I did already see signs earlier in the week over here when you're coming to the Polderbaan Spottersplaats that there is apparently a marathon on Saturday, tomorrow. So the Spottersplaats is unavailable. So if I do go out tomorrow, it has to be to a different location, either Cargolux or Polderbaan, where the McDonald's is at. This was, by the way, Air Canada flight 808 777 200 long range, arriving from Toronto after 6 hours and 20 minutes of flying. And this airplane, 15 years old, first flight February 2008. Now, it doesn't say bird control, it doesn't say K on the vehicle, but I am pretty sure that this is a bird controller, in fact. So if we are going to hear fireworks in a few minutes, don't be scared. It is going to be this one. Jamie, no, I did not see your message about UK Royal Jet. Let's see. Was that long ago? The Dassault Falcon for Amsterdam arriving in 24 minutes. Is it going to land on Polderbaan is the question. Those Falcons sometimes do land on the normal runways, but depending on the wind, and there is hardly any wind here today, they often land on runway 0422, the tiny Schiphol Oostbaan, because the general aviation platform is also located there, so the taxi time is much shorter. Well, Jamie, if that Dassault Falcon is landing on Polderbaan or on runway 18 center, we are definitely going to capture it. So rest assured, my intention is to stick around until the arrival of the Emirates A380, similar to yesterday. Obviously, we'll have to see if we are going to see it up close or like yesterday and like this airplane from a distance. That is why I was saying that I am a little bit optimistic, hopeful I should say, that they already opened the center runway right now, because that means they are probably going to close it again after having used it for 1 to 1.5 hours. And that window of opportunity coincides, according to my mental arithmetic, with the time that the Emirates A380 is expected to land. So I'm hoping that Polderbaan is going to be the only runway open for landings by the time we are seeing the Emirates A380. Now, in the meantime, also traffic is still taking off from runway 24. A big bird. Is that a 747? Is that Cathay Pacific cargo? I think it is Cathay Pacific. Cathay Pacific. No, Cargolux. Damn it, now I lost it. There we go. So Cargolux going to Luxembourg. So if something interesting is taking off from runway 24, do let me know. As you guys can see, you are able to see it from over here and visibility is decent enough to see things, particularly if they are coming to this area, flying to the north. Now, shouldn't we normally also see an A350 from Finnair in the morning? I haven't seen it yet. Not sure if it is still expected to come in. Okay. This is a familiar figure. It is a Dreamliner, and this is KLM flight 696 arriving from YYZ, aka Toronto. Boeing 7879 Dreamliner, 6 hours and 9 minutes underway. She is 6 years old. Its first flight was in September 2016. Surinam Airways is bound to take off in the next minutes from runway 24, Marcus is informing us. That is very good news, Marcus. Danke dafür. That means I am going to see if we can focus on it. So Surinam Airways, I think, is now the only operator that since recently has begun flying again to Amsterdam on a regular basis with an A340. Now the livery resembles that of Air Belgium somewhat, as many have already remarked. Let's see. Going to the other side of the platform with my flight radar app. Okay, first up an A330 to Detroit. A340 looks to be next. Okay, excellent, excellent. And what is coming to Polderbaan? Iberia Express A320. 737 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Okay, so that is not extremely rare or special. Yeah, so number 2 to depart from runway 24 right now is Surinam Airways. At the moment, first an A330 will take off. After that, an A340 from Surinam Airways. And I'm going to see what we can see of it from over here, just to switch it up a little bit. As you guys can see, parallel arrivals take place. Runway 18 right, where we are standing next to, and 18 center are both open. And at the moment in the pipeline, mostly Embraers and 737s. Nothing too spectacular that we are going to miss out on if we are focusing on the Surinam Airways A340 in a minute. Here, Iberia Express, A320. And I'm standing in the shade right now. First time that the sun is being obscured by clouds. Now that A330 is underway already. Flying over there. So our next airplane to take off from runway 24 will be Surinam Airways A340. So I'm keeping the camera a bit in the middle and zoomed out just to see visually where it is going to appear from behind the trees or whatever and then focus in on it. It's going to fly away from us. It's not turning around towards us. It is going to fly. I'm expecting it to continue its flight to the southwest, so basically more or less in line with the runway heading. So the best view will be in the beginning, because it's only going to get smaller. And I have it. Timon asks if I'm going to be around for the 757. Is ICELANDAIR flying the 757 today? Awesome. Well, if it is arriving before the A380 and looking at the time 12:30, I believe it will be. I'm going to be around. I'm sticking around at least until the A380. Just to see if we are in luck today and see it land on Polderbaan instead of on 18 Center like yesterday. So if before that time a 757 will be coming, I am still around to film it for you guys. I'm assuming it is ICELANDAIR arriving from Reykjavik that will be flying the 757. I don't know any other operators that still operate the 757 at the moment. Morgen. Hey Richard, goedemorgen. And Jamie is saying that the Dassault Falcon is arriving in 3 minutes. Now, that means it should be close by. Oh, I see it. It is flying. No, it's going to the other runway. It is flying directly over. I'm looking up to see if I can spot it already, but I don't have it. Don't have it visually. It is quite milky here actually. But the Dassault Falcon is looking like going for the Schiphol Oostbaan. Let's see. Oh wait, there it is. The Dassault Falcon. I was looking to the north of me, but it is flying to the south of me. There you go. So that is the Dassault Falcon Royal Jet. Flying eastbound, going to descend over the Amsterdam area and land on runway 22 probably. Hey there Larry, good morning. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Hey Paul, good morning. I am definitely okay today, thank you for asking. Hope you are okay as well. Standing here, doing a little bit of plane spotting. Temperature nice and cool, around 20 degrees Celsius or 70 Fahrenheit. It is a bit milky in the sky and it is getting a bit more milky as the day progresses. We are expecting rain I think tomorrow, but it may even begin overnight already. Anyway, the increased milkiness is the prelude to that, so to speak. Oh, congratulations, Paul! It is your birthday. Nice! Happy birthday, my friend! And tuning in to AMS Live on your birthday. I feel honored. Happy birthday, my friend. Now, looked for a minute that the airplane was flaring a little bit too soon. Now, it is time for another heavy. Luckily, not only Embraers and 737s that we are seeing over here, although they do form a big chunk of the traffic. This KLM flight 682 777-300 ER arriving from YVR or Vancouver, Canada. The airplane is underway for 8 hours 25 minutes. It is 2 years old. Its first flight was in January 2021. About to touch down after, well, a work day, a full work day in the air. Yeah, it is getting a bit more milky. The wind is blowing from this direction approximately. On the other hand, if you look a bit more to the right, it looks like it is a bit more open. Definitely a weather change in the upcoming hours, upcoming day. Now, let's have a look. I think it's back to the Embraers for the time being, although, yeah, there's also a 737 arriving. Hey there, Aniruda, glad you're enjoying. We have had this question before several times about including live ATC. People are of different opinions about the subject, but I think that the consensus is that it is not allowed to do so in the Netherlands. And even if it was allowed, I'm not going to include it, because there are sites like liveatc.net where you can listen to ATC yourself, and I don't think everybody necessarily wants to hear live ATC. So by including it, you're basically forcing the people who don't want to listen to ATC to listen to ATC. And by not including it, even if it was allowed to do so, I leave people the option to include it themselves if they choose to listen to, or if they wish to listen to ATC. So even if it is allowed, I still would not be including it, just to leave people the option of choosing what they want. Because you can include it, but you cannot take it out if you don't want to hear it. But liveatc.net, great resource to listen to the air traffic control simultaneously while watching the stream. Highly recommended. I also do it sometimes. Walking wildlife, Jackie is saying. Well, swimming wildlife is rather absent today. So we have to make do with walking wildlife or flying wildlife. Erik is informing us that a 787-10 Dreamliner from Austin is coming behind an A330 from Bonaire. They will eventually arrive. At the moment I don't see them just yet, but that doesn't say a lot because I'm only watching on half my phone screen to flight radar, and the bottom half is the live chat. So I'm using a split screen, so I only have a postage, a big postage stamp size bit of screen real estate to watch flight radar on. So as you can imagine, it's pretty zoomed in to what is coming to the Polderbaan. Here is an Embraer 190 KLM flight 1198 arriving from Stavanger. An hour and 13 minutes of flight time now, touching down. The airplane is 11 years old. And well, we might as well just call it a day for the wheelie competition, because I don't have any hopes of us being able to see anything competition worthy. Either they have all given up, or the weather conditions are for some reason not favorable for making wheelies. Is that a triple? Well, it's really far out and I only have a 3-inch camera screen, so okay, let's see. Well, Jamie, that the Dassault Falcon is now flying so low and is so far out that I'm not able to see it from over here. It is already behind the tree line that you see in the relative foreground. Oh no, wait, hey, I do see it. Especially for you, Jamie. The Dassault Falcon is over there. I'm surprised I was even able to see it. In the meantime, Transavia 737 is coming in for 18 center. Let me quickly turn around the camera to something that we can see a bit more proper and better. Oh, there are two airplanes already visible. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, there they are. So, in the foreground, KLM flight 1050, it is an Embraer 190 arriving from Bristol. Oh, that is a nice flare. Can we see? No! And that is what I don't get. You see a lot of airplanes that do land with a nice flare, having the nose wheel quite high. And you're thinking, okay, if you can keep that pitch, you're in for a nice big record wheelie. Why then choose to lower the wheel? Anyway. Hey there, Henry, checking in from Ghana. Good day to you, my friend. Welcome to the show. In the meantime, our friendly neighborhood, the police, just patrolled, passed by again. Here is Delta Airlines flight 164, Airbus A330-300 arriving from Minneapolis. She's airborne now for 7 hours and 11 minutes and she is 19 years old. Her first flight was in August 2003. And the wind just... There we go. Wow. It might be safer, but it is less exciting, Mohammed. Here we go, another nice high pitch. There we go. This is looking like something. It was looking like something. But still, a nice landing. Now, in the meantime, the wind is picking up somewhat. The ripples are increasing a bit in size. Visualizing the wind with our frame of reference in the Westport area, you can see that it is blowing away from us, the smoke, so directly coming from behind, well, more or less directly coming from behind. That means that there is crosswind from the right for the pilots that are now landing. Let me also rehydrate a little bit. Hey Mats, good morning, good to see you again. Joner, good morning, and also happy birthday. So we have two people that are celebrating their birthday together with us. Happy birthday to both of you once again. I feel honored that you guys choose to spend part of your birthday with us over here in the stream and in the chat. Two airplanes, one in the top left corner and one more in center. The first one in the foreground, EasyJet A319, arriving from London Luton. In the background, 787-10 Dreamliner from KLM, arriving from Austin. And a third one even visible behind it. EasyJet flight 22515 A319, originating from London Luton. Left there 41 minutes ago. It is a 13-year-old airplane. Always nice to see how those 4 slots open instead of an entire ring moving to the back. I like the variation. Not sure if it is as productive as when the full circumference is opened. You would think that this is less effective because the surface area is smaller than the full circumference, but who knows? I'm sure that somebody did their homework before saying let's produce it, make it a production feature. So, up next, the 787-10 Dreamliner. And it looks like another big bird is behind it. 777-200 arriving from Bonaire. Let's focus on this one first. KLM flight 116 arriving from Austin, Texas. 8 hours 26 minutes ago it took off. Now touching down. The airplane is 1 year old. June 2022 is when it began its flying career. That is true application of the reverse thrust. Always lovely when they do use it. Now, hey there Max Trainer, guten Morgen. checking in from Mönchengladbach. A nice channel you have. Vielen Dank für die schöne Wörter. Danke. And welcome to the show. Glad you're enjoying. Next up, a countdown, flight number KLM flight 765. It is an Airbus A330-200 arriving from Bonaire in the Caribbean. This airplane is underway now for 9 hours and 10 minutes. It is 17 years old and its first flight was in August 2005. Hey there, James Williams. Good morning to you too. Almost forgot. Richard asks, how about the cookies? Honestly, Richard, I totally forgot. Now, I do have something yummy in my freezer still. Because I recently made some apple crumble cake, apple crumble pie. I still have a few slices in my freezer. I think I also have some whipped cream still in my fridge. So I might be having something nice with the coffee later today. And that was indeed one of the longest wheelies so far. And homemade apple crumble is even better because when you use a lemon and you have a biological lemon that you can zest, and you incorporate the zest of a lemon into the pastry, and also use the juice of half a lemon when cooking up the apple pieces, it gives a nice, refreshing, tangy taste to the whole cake, to the whole pie. Definitely worth making it yourself. It's fun and you know exactly what goes in. Plus, apple pie, you can easily put it in the freezer so you don't have to necessarily eat it all at once. Also save some for when you get visitors unexpectedly or something. Taking notes, Mats says. It is really the simplest of things you can make. Actually, there is this YouTube channel that is it's an Italian cooking channel, Il Rifugio Perfetto, the perfect home, and they have a recipe for apple crumble pie that I follow. That is also where I have including the lemon zest in the cake, and also using the lemon juice when you go bake or cook, whatever you call it, prepare the apple before putting it in the pie. Have a look, Il Rifugio Perfetto, the perfect home. Well, we've seen a few narrow bodies again. Now it is time for... That is a nice suggestion, Richard. Buckham and Boy, Baking with Boy, second YouTube channel. Who knows, but I'm not that that great of a cook. Even though I like it, that doesn't mean I'm necessarily good at it. So I'm not sure if it is something that would pick up. Here we have another big bird. KLM flight 644, Boeing 777-200, arriving from New York JFK. Airborne now for almost 6 hours, 5 hours and 58 minutes to be precise. She is 17 years old. First flight was in February 2006. Let's see if the pilot is in for the wheelie competition or not. Promising. 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 Oh yeah, I think this is the winner so far. Cannot recall having seen one of the other airplanes making a longer wheelie thus far today. So in the end, another heavy, setting the bar. The runner-up, Eric, which one was longer then? I'm inclined to give it the win for now. Hey, there is a bird further up in the distance. A heron by the looks of it. Or is it? Let me check behind me on my laptop screen. Yes, that is a heron. Or is it? Is it a goose? No, it's a heron. Hunting for frogs or something. Okay, A330 was also very far. Well, if we have a lull, we need to look it back. You can also see agricultural activity on the other side, behind the runway. Similar vehicle to what we saw yesterday. Spreading manure probably is what it looks like. But don't take my word for it. I know nothing of agricultural things. I am as noob as it can get regarding that topic. In the meantime, one of Transavia's many 737-800s touching down in a fashion not unlike KLM, keeping up the speed, staying on the runway, vacating late, aka shortening the time to the gate as much as possible. If you guys just tuned in and you're new to the channel and you're new to Schiphol, then welcome to AMS Live. First of all, my name is Boy and this is the Polderbaan. It is the latest addition to the network of runways of Schiphol Airport. And from over here, the airplanes still have a 10 to 15 minute taxi back to the gate. This is the main ATC control tower. This is also where the main terminal building is and where the gates are. As you guys can see, it is quite far away from here. Hence a second ATC control tower that is dedicated for traffic of this runway. Airplanes that have touched down over here still have 10 to 15 minutes of taxiing to go. One of the longest taxis, if not the longest in the world. Luther says it looked like a field sprayer. Okay, could be. I also saw someone doing some crop spraying as I was driving over here, so it could also have been that. Again, I'm absolutely no expert by any means whatsoever. So if you guys say it is a weed sprayer, I'll take your word for it. And again, a little squeakiness in the brakes there. For now, a few more Embraers in the pipeline immediately. Eric informing us that 18C is closed for now. So it is now 11:45. I would have hoped that they kept it open at least half an hour or so longer, because then it's almost sure that it would have been closed by the time the A380 was arriving. Now I'm not so sure. It is expected around 1 p.m. still, isn't it? So that is in an hour and 15 minutes from now approximately. So it might be the case that they have reopened it just before, or especially because of the A380. That's also something that they seem to be doing, opening the runways especially for the A380. Either that or it is pure coincidence that each time when the A380 arrives, just before it is expected to touch down, they open up another runway than the prevailing one that has been in use all the time. Little spider on my camera screen. Erik informing us, Silkway 747 in 26 minutes, so that is good news. First up is an Embraer 175, and after that we are going to see another 777-300. We can already see it. In fact, nice duo shot. I'm pretty sure that whatever they are growing in that field is definitely not organic, Lance. Absolutely right. Hey Ralph, goedemorgen, good morning. Now. A little Embraer 175. Absolutely no participant in the wheelie competition. Let's just focus on the big bird coming this way. Crabbing ever so slightly to the right, facing us a little bit. There is some crosswind from the right. And Alistair, good evening. Checking in from Canberra, or is it Canberra? Yeah, Canberra, isn't it? Where do you place the stress, the emphasis? Canberra? Canberra. Canberra, isn't it? Anyway, this is KLM flight 736. It is arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. Again, the Caribbean part of the kingdom. 8 hours and 45 minutes of flight time. About to touch down. This airplane, 15 years old. March 2008 is when it began flying. Glad you're liking the Instagram recaps, mods. It's just laziness on my hand to more or less copy paste the description and the highlights that I pinpoint in the description on YouTube. Not sure if I should continue doing it. But I'm happy to at least know that you are enjoying them. Not sure if they are reaching that big of an audience, if it's that useful, but hey Goosey, good morning. Also checking in. Or were you already present? If that's the case, I didn't see it before. Sorry for that. Now, at the moment, a momentary lull. What is good news is that it seems to be opening up if I turn around the camera in the direction where the wind is blowing from. So maybe there was just a little bit of cloud formation and it's going to blow over. This is where the wind is coming from, and that looks quite open. More open than it has been looking thus far all morning. I'm immediately scanning to see if maybe there are some contrails that I can show you guys, but I don't see any. So this is land inward, south and east. Definitely more cloud formation land inward. Now there is another airplane. A couple of airplanes are coming. There's a whole train of airplanes coming. 4 consecutive. And this should be the first one, or is that the second one already? No, the second one is behind it. Just about visible. Is it? Yeah, I think it is the first one. Yeah, it is indeed the first one. The first two. Hey Feldi, guten Tag. Morgen, good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, welcome and good day to you as well. If you're new to the channel and you're liking what you're seeing, don't be afraid to say hi in the chat. People over here are friendly. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask. A lot of knowledgeable people over here in the chat as well. Our first airplane is from Transavia, Boeing 737-800, arriving from Catania. This airplane is 19 years old, first flight March 2004. Hey Yossi, checking in from Tel Aviv. Shalom. Now, don't ask me how it got there, but there is a little spider on the furry of my DJI microphone. Interesting. Let me blow it out. Don't know how it got there. Maybe it was airborne and landed on my cap. I have no idea. Hey René, 1628. Checking in from Hoorn, the Netherlands. Goedemorgen. Still morning? Yeah, just a few more minutes. The spider likes you, or is a huge aviation geek itself. I think it's the latter then. Not sure that I am so likable for spiders. Now, a couple of airplanes are coming in. To begin with, this Embraer 175. After that, two 737-800s. This Embraer 175 is arriving from Darlington. KLM flight 1534. 6-year-old airplane. Giving us a little butt shot. The next up are going to be two Boeing 737-800s. Hey there, good morning, Swamp Fuel. Thank you for your kind words. always enjoy your content. Cheers. Well, thank you for watching and thanks for letting me know you're enjoying the content. It's what I'm here for, and also because I like doing this, of course. KLM flight 1008 arriving from London Heathrow, and next up is a Transavia that is arriving from Faro. Before that, let me quickly retie my shoelaces because I stood on it and one of the laces got loose, got untied. Here we go again. Marius is informing us that the 747 from Silkway is now entering Dutch airspace near Enschede. And Gillian, or is it Gillian, says good morning from Ley in United Kingdom. Good morning to you too, my friend. Welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well and enjoying what you're seeing. This is a Transavia 737-800. Flight 5352 arriving from Faro in Portugal. After 2 hours and 44 minutes of flying, it is touching down. Unfortunately, no wheelie of significance. This airplane, 12 years old, first flight was in February of the year 2011. Now it is time to quickly turn around the camera because we are expecting a big bird. And this big bird is a 777-300ER arriving from Panama City. She is underway now for 9 hours and 40 minutes, and this airplane, 11 years old, first flight was in June 2012. Hey Han, goedemiddag. Net aan, just about, afternoon. Nice of you to stop by. I am assuming that means you also have to go again shortly. If that is the case, have a nice Friday and take care. If you're here to stick around, don't go if you don't have to. There's a Queen inbound. We are waiting for the daily Emirates A380. Hopefully we'll get to see it up close this time. Unlike yesterday, but time will tell. Next up, two Embraer 190s. Okay. Enjoy your lunch, Luther. Thank you so much for checking in. Either we'll see you later or we'll see you later. Hey Aaron, goedemiddag, good afternoon. So next up, two Embraer 190s. Both are said to be from KLM. Let's have a look if one of them is... Yeah, I thought so. The second one is flying for KLM, but is the German Airways DAPRI Leysieffer chocolate livery that we already know and have seen so many times before. The first one is true KLM. It is flight 1820 arriving from Berlin. After an hour and 2 minutes of flight time, the airplane is 9 years old. Its first flight was in October of the year 2013. And Koenie is back. Hey there Koenie, good to see you again. Now I'm still looking around in the water. I don't see any other birds other than that one heron that is still... oh, it's over here. Still chilling over there. No ducks or anything. Behind me, the same. I do see that a bird control vehicle is coming this way. Looks like the Ford Ranger variant. K3. Oh, and the heron has flown away into the field. And it has landed in the field. And again, standing on my own shoelaces. Let me put in a double knot so it cannot get untied again. Now this airplane, the specifics I know by heart, and probably you guys do too. The DAPRI Embraer 190s, 190 German Airways Leysieffer Chocolaterie special livery with chocolate cakes and everything. The airplane, 15 years old. First flight was in January of the year 2008. Never did check in if Leysieffer is still running. For all we know, this is an advertisement for a company that has gone bankrupt during the pandemic or something. Who knows? I have no idea. Next up is an A330. Delta Airlines flight 144 arriving from Seattle. 8 hours and 43 minutes of flight time under its belt already. The airplane is 15 years old. First flight was in August 2007. Maybe I was saying birth control vehicle there, John. That has been a running gag since people misheard me saying that. So sometimes I do also say it on purpose, mixing it up, making it exciting, but not only visually but audibly as well. I'm hearing something. Let me see if I can show you it as well. Where is it? Damn it. Finding that as the sun is coming out more now, it is more difficult to see stuff on my camera screen, particularly when I'm looking to the west with my camera, as the sun is still in the east and a little bit more to the south. The sun is now constantly illuminating my camera screen, making it a bit hard to see everything. Oh! I did miss that. Holy moly. I am so sorry that I missed that. Goosey, thank you so much for your kind donation of 5 memberships. And thank you, Yorkshire, for letting me know, because I totally did miss that. That is very generous of you, Goosey. Thank you so much for that. And thank you once again, Yorkshire, for letting me know. So, 2 more airplanes are coming this way right now. An Embraer 175 and a Boeing 737-800. Here's the Embraer 175. I think you guys should be able to see the next airplane as well. Saturnus is asking about, are we going to see a queen this afternoon? And there is in fact a queen coming this way. And she's already getting close by over Markermeer right now, going to Purmerend, so we should be seeing it in exactly 10 minutes. Kuni was already saying it. We're also waiting for the Emirates A380 to arrive. Not sure where it is right now. Probably expected in 50 minutes or so from now. And that Queen is going to be the 3rd one of the day. We started out, the very first airplane was a Queen as well. And we did also see a 2nd one, and we're about to see the 3rd one. The 2nd one was unforeseen, or at least we believe it was unforeseen, but it was a bit hard to gauge on flight radar what was going on. It said not available for both origin and destination, so if it was intended to come to Amsterdam or whether it was diverting to Amsterdam, I'm still not sure about that. If anybody does find out more about it, do let me know. Let us know. And the A380 in the standard livery, still in Germany. That was to be expected. I think it was expected to arrive around 1 PM local time, so 15 minutes or so from now. Fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, that the current runway configuration will stay in place until then. Right now all traffic inbound is coming to the Polderbaan, and I am hoping it is going to stay that way. Next up, a KLM Boeing 737-800 that is arriving from Edinburgh. KLM flight 1278. Departed from Scotland 55 minutes ago. The airplane is 22 years old. First flight was in July 2000. Now, is it just me or did we miss an A350 from Finnair? Normally in the morning they are also sending an A350 from Helsinki. Cannot recall having seen it during the stream, and also not when I was walking up here and setting up. Nah, anyway. Let's see, where is that 747? Oh, it's flying north of Purmerend, so I doubt that we are going to see it on its base leg. It is flying base now, but so far up north that I don't think we are able to see it. We do, however, see other airplanes following this airplane. I count 3 visually. Can you guys see? Yeah, you guys can see them as well. Showing you the glide slope somewhat visually. Hey there, Renee, good morning. And all other viewers who have joined in the meantime, good afternoon. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. And while we are watching this Air Arabia Airbus and vacating the runway over here at the first exit, in 10 minutes or so from now we are going to see the 3rd Boeing 747. I believe the next one is going to be Silkway West, arriving from Baku. It's now flying base and will be turning final shortly, a bit more to the north. Let's see, 2 or 3 more planes preceding it, the first of which is about to touch down already. So let me quickly turn around the camera. It is an Embraer 190 arriving from Bergen, KLM flight 1186, underway for 1 hour and 16 minutes. It is 13 years old and had its first flight in July 2009. Similar to yesterday, I do get the feeling that the wind is picking up a little bit. Now, let's see. Here is a Corendon 737. What is that? That is another 737 that is arriving from Porto. Behind it should be the 747, and that is over there. So there you go. Little wobbly on the landing. Corendon Airlines. Flight 1. Amsterdam to Amsterdam, interesting. Was it a test flight? Test flight, okay. Yeah, and I pray with you, Auntie, even though I am not religious. If it helps to keep 18 Center closed, I will do a prayer as well. Say a prayer. Now, in the foreground, a 737 from Transavia arriving from Porto. We have seen Transavia 737s so often before that I'm going to forgo following it and focus in on the 747 that is behind it, so that we can see its entire final approach. It is Silkway West Airlines flight 4215, Boeing 747-400, arriving from Baku. This airplane is underway now for 4 hours and 56 minutes. It is a 747-400 R7F. Does that mean that it is a regular 400 converted to a freighter? It is 23 years old. Its first flight was in September 1999. And Auntie is informing us that there is a 777 SkyTeam livery behind the Queen. That's also very nice. Already visible a bit more to the left. Nice duo shot of the Queen and the triple. Means I'm not going to extensively follow the Queen after it has landed. Because the triple in the SkyTeam livery is also very nice to look at. Now you can see there is crosswind. Pilots banking left and right. Wind is picking up a little bit, so this should be interesting. Let's see how the landing goes. A little up and down bouncing with the nose wheel after having touched down. Not exactly a whole lot of reverse thrust. Not too bad. Third Queen of the day, ladies and gentlemen. She is turning off the runway right now. Flaps still extended. Spoilers also still up. We're probably going to see the ladder drop first. Then they are going to retract the flaps. Right. Time to turn around the camera once again to the north. Because here is KLM flight 622 Boeing 777-300 ER arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. This airplane is underway now for 7 hours and 33 minutes. The airplane is 13 years old. Its first flight was in August 2009. And it is in the SkyTeam livery. Hey there, Barbs. Good morning for you still. Afternoon over here in mainland Europe. If you tuned in just before the 747, your timing was excellent. And Anya was also just in time to see the Queen landing. It was the third one of the stream, so we did see two more. The first of which was the very first airplane on the stream. So just go back to the beginning of the stream to see that. The second one I will timestamp together with all the other highlights once I get home after I'm done streaming. For now, we're still good here. At the moment, we are in luck and runway 18 right is still the only runway open for arrivals. We're saying our prayers and keeping our fingers crossed that it's going to stay that way until the Emirates A380 has landed. Also doing a little bit of rehydration. Our next airplane is going to be a Transavia 737. Arriving from Thessaloniki in Greece, flight 5806. About to land after 2 hours and 34 minutes of flying. And this airplane is 13 years old. First flight was in April 2010. Let's see. Auntie asks, boy, have you seen the ICELANDAIR that is coming with that livery? Well, if it is the regular livery, then yes. Oh no, wait. Hey, this is not only a 757, but it is also in the special 100 years independence livery. I have seen its pictures on flight radar, but I haven't seen it in real life yet. Or at least not on camera, I should say. So we are expecting a very nice classic retro special livery from ICELANDAIR that is sending a 757 over here today. And Aphrodite is updating us that the A380 is expected in 45 minutes. Yeah. I'm afraid that they might reopen 18 Center before then. Meanwhile, wind is picking up a little bit. You can probably tell by how the image has also gotten a little bit more shaky. That is wind vibration. And very hard to mitigate. I already as a standard procedure, fixate my tripod with 10 wires into the ground, with 3 wires to each leg into the ground, so that it doesn't move at all. Even if you bump into it, you can violently shake it, then you see some movement, but for standard operation you don't see any movement or anything. However, hey, 777 from KLM from Lima is continuing over Amsterdam North, and it is going to the east. I'm thinking they might open runway 27 for arrivals then. Either that or the pilot is doing a round around the Schiphol because it is the last flight of the pilot or something, but I don't think it is going to be that. Let's see what other traffic is going to do. I'll do my best, Lance, not to trip over my laces and tumble into the canal. Thank you for joining and take care, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you again soon, undoubtedly. Do come back later when I have timestamped the highlights, because That 757 from ICELANDAIR that is coming in is definitely worth looking back later. Or stick around for 5 more minutes because it is number 2 now for arrival. Number 1, Embraer 190 arriving from Leeds, KLM flight 1542. She is underway now for 44 minutes, or has been underway now for 44 minutes. It is a 5-year-old airplane that had its first flight in February 2018. And indeed, I was already fearing that, as Antti was saying, 27 is now arrivals. That does not bode well for the A380. Although, if I recall correctly, I did remember having seen the A380 come to the Polderbaan instead of runway 27 when both were open, but well, at least we get to see the 757 in the special livery up close. That is a nice treat. ICELANDAIR flight 500 arriving from Reykjavik after 2.5 hours of flying, just a bit more. This airplane is 23 years old. Its first flight was in February 2000 and it is in the 100 years independence special livery, so have a look at this livery. And Erik is saying another special Global X from Reykjavik is coming with an A220. What time is it expected to arrive? That particular flight? Now, let's see. The upshot is that not all heavies are going to 27. We're now waiting for an Embraer 190, but behind it, over in the left hand side of the screen, you guys can see a 777-200 that is arriving from Guayaquil. Right, so this is KLM flight 1354. It is an Embraer 190 arriving from Prague in the Czech Republic. It's been flying now for 1 hour and 9 minutes. It is 5 years old. First flight was in February 2018. Alright, now if all other traffic is still coming to the Polderbaan, that would be very nice. Has it officially been opened as a runway for arrivals, runway 27? Is it also visible on the LVNL website, Luchtverkeersleiding Nederland? For now it says that 18 right is the only runway for arrivals. And there's an A350 from Finnair going back to Helsinki. Guess I missed its arrival then earlier this morning. Is it? Nah. The thing is, we have clouds right above here, and the A350 is already above the cloud, so we can hear it, but we don't see it. You can also see airplanes take off from 18 left. That is what you can see from over here. Now that Global X special arriving from Reykjavik is next, also a looker. I'm looking at the picture on Flight Radar right now. Hard to choose a new thumbnail for this stream. Will it be Global X, or will it be that 100 years independence ICELANDAIR? Huh. Anyway, Global X flight 104 A320 arriving from Reykjavik, 2.5 hours of flight time, well 2 hours and 35 minutes to be precise. The airplane is 14 years old, first flight was in August 2008. Now check it out. Also an airplane you don't see very often, and the color is very nice. Hey, this is something different. It is TUI. Only the logo still on the engine over here. So they did officially rebrand the livery on the outside. The picture on Flight Radar was showing something different. Spoilers down. And the flaps are going up. Still a nice airplane that you don't see very often. Wind's picking up, you guys can see it. And if I show you guys the big picture, this is the southwest, this is where the wind is coming from. This is south, this is east, land inward. Now going back to what is going on right here in front of us. Speedbird A320 arriving from London Gatwick. I think you might be right, Yorkshire. I think ICELANDAIR will lend itself better for the thumbnail. Not only a 757 that we don't see very often anymore these days, but also a special livery. I think that is going to be the thumbnail of the stream. Right, next up, Embraer 195 from Lot, arriving from Warsaw. Not the E2, but the old school. Is that an E1 then? Not sure if the predecessor is called E1. So this is Lot flight 263. Embraer 195 arriving from Warsaw. Underway for an hour and 43 minutes as we speak. It is an Embraer 195 long range, 14 years old. First flight was in January of the year 2009. Marius is informing us that the A380 is now in the vicinity of Kassel, so still in Germany but getting closer to the Dutch-German border. Let me check out that website for runway usage again, the app at least. Doesn't say anything about 27 being permanently open. Also no other air traffic, just the one. Quite odd. Why would they do that? Low on fuel, medical emergency? I don't know. Does anybody have an idea? Oh, and you might have heard a little bang just now. If you look closely you can see it. Bird control vehicle in the distance. Was actually hoping we could see a puff of smoke and hear the bang a few seconds later. Nice physics demonstration displaying the difference between the speed of light and the speed of sound. Maybe we still get to see it. And maybe not. Let me turn around the camera for the traffic that is coming this way. 2 737s are inbound. 737-800s. The first one from KLM arriving from Rome. It is KLM flight 1598. Departed from Rome an hour and 52 minutes ago, now touching down here. 23 years old, this airplane. Its first flight was in April of the year 2000. Bird situation in the water, still the same, unchanged. Nothing to see. Not sure why. Is that something? No, that's also not something. I thought I did see a few further up, yeah. So the birds moving to the north has already begun apparently. So here is our next airplane. Another KLM 737 800 arriving from Madrid. Flight 1700. So now unfortunately the outbound traffic is, you can hear it, but by the time it arrives over here I cannot see it anymore because the clouds are relatively low at the moment. Now, interestingly enough, it is a bit more dark over there, but then as the airplanes come around here, they have a patch of open sky where you would be able to see them, and right as they pass along right here, it is starting to get cloudy again, making it a bit hard to see the traffic that has taken off from runway 24 as it is flying to the north. Now we are awaiting the daily Emirates A380. And where is it? Oh, having no filters applied is a bit overwhelming now on flight radar, being zoomed out so much. Let's fix that. Oh, I remember that I forgot to top up my data. Let me immediately go into the app and do that, because otherwise you guys might start, the stream might suddenly stop. And that is something I don't want to have happen. Ooh, getting close to the limit, 9.7 gigabytes of 10. Quickly add 2 more gigabytes. Holy shit. Totally forgot. Update. Add 2 more for safety measures. All right. Okay, 4 more gigabytes added to my bundle, so we should be good until the arrival of the A380. I totally realized that I forgot to do that. Let me re-enable a filter, because otherwise it is too crowded on my screen for flight radar. Let me re-enable split screen. There we go. Okay. Mario is informing us that there's a 747 in 25 minutes expected from Miami. And if they are arriving around the same time, then it's very probable that one of them will be going to the runway that I am expecting they will reopen again soon. I'm really afraid of that. I'm happy to see that the chat is still alive, so nobody got stuck with freeze frames. I only had a few hundred megabytes left on my standard 10 gig allowance. Now it's just a matter of doing a few clicks in the app of my provider and you can increase it twofold easily. Literally a minute of work, but you have to remember, and I normally do that before going out. Today I forgot and only just now, luckily just in time, realized it. Anyway, so still don't know where the A380 is. Let's see. Okay, in the vicinity of Münster. Hey, and there's also a nice Dreamliner from Saudia coming this way. Yeah, it's going to... Oh, no, I think that the 747 is going to arrive before the A380. Actually, don't think that's going to be an issue. Now, just before it enters into the clouds, you can probably just see... And this is what I was talking about. So you can hear the airplanes taking off to the north from runway 24. They are already quite high, particularly those smaller ones climb very steeply. So really hard to see them. Now, hey. Someone is doing a short traffic pattern. Transavia arriving very shortly before the runway. Flight 54, Boeing 737-800 arriving from Faro in Portugal. After 2 hours and 37 minutes of flight time, the airplane is 8 years old. First flight was in March 2015. Indeed, Marius, the 747 expected in 12 minutes, and if the A380 is still in Germany, then the 747 will have landed by then. Now, there's also a Dreamliner from Aeromexico following it. Not able to capture that in one shot. You can nicely see how the airplane is pointing towards us, so it is a little bit, it crabs a little bit at the moment. That's crab with a B, not with a P. Yesterday we had crappy landings and crappy air. Same container is still here, by the way, next to the cycling path. Where those 4 or 5 trucks dumped manure in for the farmer to spread out over the land. Next up, Aeromexico. Where is it? There it is. So this is Aeromexico flight 25. It is a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Mexico City. This airplane is underway now for 9 hours and 51 minutes. It is 6 years old. Its first flight was in December of the year 2016. Hey, and Bobby, good morning. Checking in where it is still morning. Over here, the afternoon has begun. At the moment, you can see that there are more clouds here and there. To the north it was more open earlier, now more clouds. However, there is still a bit of openness in the southwest. Now we are expecting rain later in the... Well, I'm not sure if it's going to rain today. I thought they said it was going to rain tomorrow. Might even begin to rain overnight already. We do have a big area of precipitation coming in. That means that I'm also unsure yet of whether or not I am going out to live stream tomorrow. If it's going to rain the entire day, I might take the day off. If it's only raining in the AM, I might go out in the PM. It depends also on my schedule. I do also have some things to do. Normally it's better to combine that and go out in the morning and do that in the afternoon. Oh, and Eric is giving us the news that we have been dreading and fearing. 18 Center open again. So that A380 is very likely to be landing again on center. Marius is informing us that the A380 has just crossed into Dutch airspace in the vicinity of Enschede. Runway 24 still used for departures, as you guys can see. I think I might actually see a contrail coming this way, a twin jet, but still. It should appear from behind the cloud on the left hand side in a minute. Oh, it has already. Now for me it is hard to see what it is. I just see it is a twin engine because I just see two contrails. I see reflections mostly. Hopefully you guys can see a bit more detail. It's flying directly over me from west to east. Almost nearly exactly over me. A little bit to the northeast. East-northeast. And it's now to the east of me. Right. Going back to what we can see up close, or relatively up close. Hey Peter Panda, thanks for the kind words, saying you're enjoying the streams. Well, thank you so much for letting me know. I do my best and I'm glad that you're enjoying. Another departure just took place, or just passed by, I should say. Looks like a KLM 737. Only moments. Oh wait, I might be able to capture it again after it. Well, I don't see it anymore. There are, however, two airplanes visible in the distance. We zien ze weer vliegen. Indeed, Koenie. Okay, A320 London to Berlin. Thank you for updating us, Remco. Interesting. Always nice to know where those airplanes are going to and coming from. And Abdul says hello from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Good day to you, Abdul. Thanks for joining us. All other viewers who are new to the channel, don't be afraid to say hi like Abdul just did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. The people over here are very friendly and knowledgeable as well. So don't be afraid to say hi, and if you have any questions, feel free to shoot. Royal Air Maroc arriving from Nador. Wind is picking up a little bit. You can see it on the camera, you can also see it on the landings. Next up is going to be a Vueling flight 8353 A320 arriving from Valencia. This airplane departed from Valencia 2 hours 15 minutes ago. It is 8 years old. First flight was in April 2015. Now that 747 arriving from Miami. It is in the north. It is flying base. Let's see if it's turning final to the Polderbaan or to center. Fingers crossed that we get to see the third queen at least up close. Ordinarily you would think so, but you never know with Schiphol. Well, Antti, if it were to go to center, we would still be able to see it somewhat. I'm lucky to have a camera that can zoom quite far, but you'd miss out on the sound and everything. So it's definitely better if it doesn't go to center. We'll find out soon enough. It looks like it is turning already, so I think we're good. Looks like the 747 is going to be number 3. Parallel, we're also going to see the Dreamliner from Saudi arriving from Jeddah for center in a moment. Right. Now let me also have a quick peek on my laptop where I can see a bit more. Don't see the 747 just yet. That is unfortunate. It will become visible soon though. So just have to await the progress of the pipeline, so to speak. A319 EasyJet flight 27882 arriving from Palma de Mallorca. It is underway now for 2 hours and 19 minutes, about to touch down. It is 14 years old. First flight was in March 2009. Now the Saudi Dreamliner is already visible. Going to runway 18 center. 787-9 Dreamliner arriving from Jeddah. Hey there, Evelyn. So no, unfortunately today we haven't seen any long wheelies. Well, a few, but they weren't as long as they were yesterday. But we have seen a 777 that I think has taken the win. The narrow bodies did disappoint a little bit today. Dope Child TV says hello from Kenya. Good day, Dope Child TV. You are in time. Your timing is excellent, as is Evelyn's. We are going to see a 747. Now, Transavia 737s, we all know what they look like. We've seen so many of them before, so let me go back to the north with the camera. This is the third queen of the show. Coming to the Polderbaan, it is Atlas Air at the moment, number 7 tracked worldwide on flight radar, followed by 408 people. It is Atlas Air flight 8209, Boeing 747-400 arriving from Miami, Florida, after 8 hours and 6 hours, 8 hours and 6 and now 7 minutes of flight time. This airplane is 27 years old. Its first flight was in August 1995. So I think I was in the first year of high school back then. Did we? No, we didn't have the Iron Curtain anymore. The Cold War was over, right? Yeah. Berlin Wall and stuff was already taken down. Yeah. Wasn't Bill Clinton US president back in 1995? Back to the Clinton days. Remco asks about the Lifeliner 1. I don't see any choppers, I don't hear any choppers. Sanne was half a year old in 95. Hey Sanne, goedemiddag. Goeie timing, perfect timing. You guys can see there is crosswind from the right. Wind's blowing almost at a 45-degree angle versus the runway heading, so a bit of crabbing. Let's see how it does. Very nice. Sounded like idle reversers. Still an impressive landing nonetheless. Ze kwispelt, wagging her tail. Yeah, you see that a lot, that they do that. Don't know if there's a particular reason for it. Maybe just because the road is bumpy and they have their feet on the pedals, that the tail seems to be wagging a little bit. Now, the sun illuminating the 747 and a bit of clouds in the background makes for an interesting contrast. I am inclined to say a very Dutch picturesque picture, although I haven't looked at the weather radar, but you would almost be thinking it is raining down there. Hey Bisnovat, good afternoon, goedemiddag. Let's quickly turn around. Shamrock is arriving from Dublin, A320. Flight 604. And in the old livery still. This airplane 14 years old. First flight was in February 2009. Now, the Emirates A380 Super is now flying over Purmerend. I think we might be able to pick it up later, but the way it is flying is very much indicative that it is going to land on 18 center as we were all fearing. As soon as I think I can see it, I will switch to following it. Obviously, it is going to be the last airplane of the day. But before that, we are going to follow this A320neo from EasyJet, flight 23301, arriving from Edinburgh in Scotland after having left there an hour and 3 minutes ago. This airplane is 4 years old and its first flight was in October 2018. The wind seems to have changed a little bit. Earlier when checking in with our standard candle, if you will, the chimney smoke in Westport, it was blowing away from us directly, with the wind directly behind us, with the camera oriented like so. Now you can, hey, what is that? That's a first. A lawnmower. The passage of a lawnmower over here. A show first. I've not seen that one pass by in the stream so far. I already was wondering what I was hearing behind me. Little lawnmower. Well, the A380, I have it. It is going to, well, I have it visually. I'm still probably still too far. Where is it? There it is. Going to runway 18 center. Hey Rick, goedemiddag. Just in time. You missed 3 queens. You missed a special livery 757 from ICELANDAIR. But don't worry, if you check in tonight, I will have timestamped everything. You can quickly look back the highlights. Now the last highlight of the day, the last airplane of the day is going to be this Emirates A380 Super. Now the silver lining is it's just a standard livery and not a special livery, so for what it's worth. This airplane is now number 6 worldwide most tracked on flight radar, being tracked by 584 people. The daily flight between Dubai and Amsterdam, flight 147, this Emirates A380-800 is 11 years old. First flight of this airplane was in April 2012. And it is underway now for 6 hours and 35 minutes. And no, Rick, neither. It was the 100 years independence livery. Right now, this Emirates A380 is number 5 worldwide, being tracked by 644 people on flight radar. Let's see if we can make it a top 3. Oh, she's dropping. Now number 7 worldwide according to flight radar. Followed by 652 people. So again, the daily flight from Emirates, arriving from Dubai, 6.5 hours and a little bit of airtime. Now touching down on runway 18 center, as it did yesterday as well and has been doing so often. You might be able to pick up that they do apply the reverse thrust. It is carrying to over here. K3 photo bombing in the foreground. I at least can hear the reverse thrust still. Well, not anymore. Now there's air traffic landing over here. Alrighty, folks, it is time to wrap up. Not sure if we're going to keep it dry over here. It is starting to look a bit more threatening over here, more threatening than it has been up to now. Check it out. I haven't checked the weather radar yet. I was under the impression it was going to stay dry. Also looking back to to the coast, and this looks much happier and friendlier. I'm happy that I live more in that area than over there, because I will be driving towards the sunshine after I'm done and going home again. But I am going to say goodbye for now, folks. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me once again. It's been a blast. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you're new to the channel but you like what you saw, consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Not only will you help me tremendously by reaching more people that are also into content such as this, but you also be able to turn on notifications so that whenever I go live again in the future, you get notified. And if you have the time for it and are feeling like it, can join us for more live streaming action from the ever-bustling Schiphol airport. I'm not yet sure if I'm going to go out tomorrow. Normally I would do that, but it is all weather dependent, and if it is going to be pouring all day, then I'm going to take the day off. So I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do tomorrow. I will let you know as soon as I know. Sunday it is going to be better weather again. I am looking to go out again, probably in the morning. Hope to see you then. Thanks to each and every one of you who was so kind to donate super chats, super stickers. Goosey, once again, I'm sorry for not seeing your 5 gifted memberships. Thanks again for that. All other donations, thank you all so much for that. Your support means the world to me. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to wrap it up. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe, and I hopefully see you all again very soon. Bye for now. Take care.